Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Ohio.
It is a chilly night in downtown Cincinnati, and today we recognize number 42 all over Major League Baseball. The late, great Jackie Robinson breaking baseball's color barrier, breaking in with the Brooklyn Dodgers. And we're set for baseball. I suppose the back end of a doubleheader, the Pirates and the Reds, after we wrapped up play from last night's game. And in game one, the Pirates struck early in the 7th inning. Once we got back at it this afternoon, Cowboy, and come away with an 8-7 win.
Well, it wasn't exactly how the Reds wanted it. This is kind of what I thought was going to happen in last night's game, where it was going to be a one-run affair. Runs were going to be at a premium, but it was home run city up until we switched days. Whoever scored first, and it was the Pirates right out of the gate, a hanging breaking ball after that double down the left field line by that man McCutcheon.
And then the final out, Justin Grilly with Joey Votto in the on-deck circle, fan Billy Hamilton on a 3-2 pitch. And that was it. So the Pirates take away the opening game of this 3-game series. So here we go in game 2. And what an outstanding pitching matchup. Garrett Cole started for the Pirates. More on him in a minute. And coming off one of the finer outings of his Major League career is Reds right-hander Mike Leake.
You've got two competitors, Tom, both Cole and Leake, and they get after it. Whether it's cold weather or not, these guys will bring their best. And we saw the best from Mike Leake in his outing against St. Louis. If you're a Reds pitcher and you have a great ball game against the Cardinals, you have done something. And Mike Leake put 8 shutout innings on the board. Not striking out every batter, just getting outs.
Now, striking out a lot of batters is always a possibility for Garrett Cole. This guy's a load now.
He is a beast, 6'4", 240. And when he walked into that big league locker room the first time, the guys say, he said, I belong here. And he has pitched like it. 10-7 last year in 19 starts. He likes to finish what he starts.
So a good matchup. Reds and the Pirates, game 2 of this series. And when we return, Jim Day will tell us more about the man we're honoring, Jackie Robinson. That's right around the corner. You're watching Reds baseball on Fox Sports Ohio.
Oh, plenty of green grass down at the ballpark, but I'll tell you what, it's going to be cold down there. First pitch, 37, still a chance of a flurry. Halfway home, 34, headed for home, 32 degrees. What was the deal last night? 6 innings, 10 home runs, winds blowing from the west at about 15 to 25. I don't think that happens again tonight, but enjoy the game anyway on Fox Sports. Oh-ho! Woo!
Tim's going to have to rest after that weather report. And we are ready for game 2 of this 3-game set. Jim Day, I'm on the field just outside of the Reds dugout. It is Jackie Robinson all across Major League ballparks, all across this great country of ours. Every player, manager, and coach will wear his famous number 42 on the back of their jerseys. Now, Robinson's legacy is woven into the fabric of American history. Yes, he broke the color barrier, but he continued to fight for civil rights even after his much-deserved Hall of Fame induction in 1962.
This particular man established a terrific record.
We're going to have to do this thing simply by the box score.
He could hit, he could run,
Thank you very much, Mr. Rickey. I'm certainly delighted with my contract.
he could field, he could throw, he could think.
And I think the conscience of America is beginning to awaken. Those of us who are fortunate again must use in order to help others.
He was always a fierce and a hard competitor.
But we really are not going to have very many allies, and you've got to turn your cheek at every opportunity.
Ladies and gentlemen, Jackie Robinson.
I'm sure that in the immediate future, things are going to improve a great deal.
Mobile Tuesday night baseball right here on Fox Sports Ohio. As Tim Edrick told you a moment ago, the skies are clearing out. It's supposed to be a clear night, a chilly night, a beautiful day tomorrow. So if you're thinking about coming down for the series finale, tickets are available. That is a 12:35 start. Clint Hurdle and the Pirates coming away with the Game 1 win. They're now 7 up, 6 down on the year. The starting lineup presented by Meyer. Why make any changes? The only one is down at shortstop. Marte, Snyder, McCutchen to start it. Alvarez, Martin, and Walker in the middle. Sanchez again, even with a right-hander on the mound at first base. Jordy Mercer, the shortstop, and the right-hander Garrett Cole on the mound, starting it for the Reds. is right-hander Mike Leake.
One thing that Leake will want to establish early is down in the strike zone with both the sinking fastball and the changeup.
So here we go. Starling Marte, a swing and a miss, and this one underway. Brian Knight calls the balls and strikes. Quinn Wolcott down at first base. Acrucci, Jerry Davis at second, and Phil Cuzzi, the umpire, at third. Leake coming off a marvelous outing against the St. Louis Cardinals. His second start of the year, 8 innings of 4-hit shutout baseball, walked only one, fan 3, and were it not for Lucas Duda of the New York Mets, who knows? He might have given up a run the entire year. He gave up 4, you may remember, against the Mets in 6 2/3, and all 4 came on a pair of 2-run home runs by Lucas Duda of the New York Mets.
Only 2 mistakes Leake has made thus far.
And he makes quick work of Marte on 4 pitches, and he's gone on strikes.
Slider well out of the strike zone. And tell you, Tom, after watching what we saw in last night's game, and really in the first 3 innings finishing up that game before this starts, it seems like the Pirates have gone from taking a lot of pitches to just coming and swinging out of their shoes. It did not appear that any of those balls were strikes to Starling Marte, and he was hacking.
Travis Snyder, 3 home runs, 6 runs batted in, and he takes a strike. Of course, he hit a home run, one of the 6 hit by the Pirates in the opening game of this series. All 6 of them came in the first 6 innings. The 2 teams combining for 10 home runs in that opening game, and that is an all-time Great American Ballpark record. Mike Leake has been on the Reds opening day roster 5 consecutive years, and he's only 26 years young. He doesn't turn 27 until we're well into winter, or some might argue we're still in winter. And that is strike 3 called. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night. The Reds defense presented by Ford, a number of changes. They have Heisey getting to start out in left field, Roger Bernardina in center, Zach Cozart back at shortstop, and once more Mesoraco behind the plate. Now Andrew McCutchen. Of course, every player on both teams, as you probably noticed by now, in honor of the late great Jackie Robinson, wearing the number 42. His number, of course, retired in every major league ballpark by every major league team. 0-2. Chuck Harmon was recognized on the field, winner of the 2014 Powell Crosley Jr. Award, and that is strike 3 swinging. 10 pitches, 9 strikes. Leake fans aside in the opening inning. Your local Ford dealer. Ford, go further. By Cincinnati USA. For endless things to do all year long, stay close to CincinnatiUSA.com. By AT&T, mobilizing your world. And by Skyline Chili. It sounds good, doesn't it, Cowboy?
It's always good.
Feeling good. It's Skyline time.
Took my kids by there right before they left. They were digging it.
Nice. Brian Price and the Reds come in 4 up, 9 down. They'll have Chris Heisey, Joey Votto, Brandon Phillips. The lineup presented by Meyer. Jay Bruce, Todd Frazier, Roger Bernardina getting the nod in center field for Billy Hamilton. A latter third of Devin Mesoraco, Zach Kozart, Mike Leake. A mountain of a man at 6'4", 240 pounds is 23-year-old right-hander Garrett Cole.
Hard thrower, especially on a cold day. Very difficult to center the baseball. What makes him so difficult to hit, Tom, is not only does he have velocity, but he has late movement in on the righty, away from the lefty.
Quickly 2-0 to Chris Heisey.
Take your bat out in the backyard and swing it up against your tire. That's what it's like hitting the baseball coming out of the hand of this guy.
Right down the middle and a strike. First round draft pick in 2011 was Garrett Cole. Entered last year, ranked by Baseball America as a Pirates #1 prospect. Rated as having the best fastball and the best slider in the entire Pirates system. And that's like hitting that tire right there. 1 out. Pirate defense behind Cole. We mentioned the only change from game 1 of this series is at shortstop. They have their regular Jordy Mercer back in there, replacing Clint Barmas.
I think the biggest reason you saw Barmas starting last night was because of who was on the mound for the Reds. Homer Bailey, a fastball pitcher. That's what Barmas hits, and he got a hit last night.
Well, we heard so much about Cole coming up through their minor league system. They fraudulently brought him up in the middle of June last year, made his major league debut that night against Tim Lincecum and the Giants in Pittsburgh. Votto went around, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. And what a night he had. He gave up 2 runs in 6 1/3, got the win in his major league debut, and he had a 2-run single in his first major league at bat.
And this kid, and he is a kid, he's 23 years old, highly confident. You can call it cocky, you can call it arrogant, you can call it whatever you want, but he believes in himself. And sometimes that's a whole lot of the battle.
That one smoked into right field off the bat of Joey Votto, and he's aboard with a 1-out single.
I don't know about you, Tom, but we're starting to see Votto get through some baseballs with regularity.
After they brought Cole up to the major leagues in 12 starts leading up to the All-Star break, he had won 6 of them and had an ERA at 2.85. But you learn a lot about a young man when they are thrown right into the fire. And of course, that's where the Pirates and the Reds and the Cardinals were in the month of September. Every game a must-win game, and no one in the league was better in the month of September, rookie or not, than Garrett Cole. A 4-0 record with a 1.69 ERA.
That's what we like to refer to as a money pitcher.
Started game 2 of the National League Division Series and beat Lance Lynn and the Cardinals 7-1. And again did it on the mound. 2 hits, 1 run in 6 innings, and knocked in the game's first run with an RBI single.
You ask the Pirate folks, and I think they really believe that 2014 would be the year that you saw Garrett Cole and another phenom in their system, James Taillon, in the big league rotation. Taillon, unfortunately, one of the victims of Tommy John this spring. That does not mean he won't be back. It just means it'll be delayed.
Not only did Cole get the start in Game 1 of that division series, many of you may remember it was a fascinating call made by the manager Clint Hurdle when they got to Game 5. And that's when Hurdle made the decision to go with the rookie Cole over the veteran A.J. Burnett. And that strike 3 called on the outside corner. 2 away in the inning. Look, for a minute there, like the Pirate catcher Russell Martin forgot there was a runner at first. He was ready to throw it around the horn.
I think you're exactly right. Came up ready to fire to third and realized nobody was running off the field.
Cole wound up losing that Game 5 to Adam Wainwright, although he went 5 innings and only allowed 2 runs. That ball in the air to left field. It'll back up Marte, but he's got it. And that's all for the Reds. They get a single from Joey Votto. End of 1. We're scoreless.
Got started awfully quick. The cutting fastball to Marte, a backdoor cut fastball to Snyder. Check out the breaking ball there. The dewdrop in on Andrew McCutchen. This is tonight's Flamethrower, brought to you by Cholula Hot Sauce.
So we begin the top half of the second inning in a scoreless game. Mike Leake fanning the side in the Pirates first, and he delivers a strike to Pedro Alvarez. Russell Martin to follow, and then Neil Walker. It's only the second ball thrown through the first 12 pitches of the game by Mike Leake.
It is fun to watch him move the ball around. When he is on his game, he can make that ball dance. In, out, up, down. Even when Leake came out of Arizona State, coming straight to the big leagues, you couldn't help but compare him to Greg Maddux. He's not Greg Maddux, we know that, but his style of pitching much the same.
Try to get him to chase that breaking ball, and it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. League's first outing last year against the Pirates was not a good one. 3-2 the count. He went 6 innings, allowed 10 hits and 5 earned runs. But I want to tell you, after that, 6 innings, no runs. 7 innings, 1 run. 6 innings, 3 runs. Winning each of the final 3 decisions. Tried him one more time on that breaking ball, and he missed, and it's a walk to Alvarez to begin the 2nd inning.
That was a pitch that Leake shook Mesoraco twice to get to. Looked like Mesoraco wanted the sinker away, and Leake wanted to go with the curveball yet again.
Strike 1 to Russell Martin. He delivered what turned out to be the game-winning hit in the first game of the series. That was a little bit earlier this afternoon in the Pirates' very first at bat after we resumed play. He had a runner at third with 2 outs and laced a breaking ball into center field, plating Andrew McCutchen. And the Pirates would win it by a final count of 8-7. League makes his 112th career start. And you have to remember, when he walked out of Arizona State, as you alluded to, Cowboy, and right into the major leagues, that was 2007. In 2008, they had to really keep an eye on his innings that year. And runner takes off, appeared to get a real good jump. And a throw is not going to be in time. So Alvarez stealing second base, and he's in scoring position.
Tell you, Tom, if you're running Alvarez and you're Clint Hurdle, you don't believe Mesoraco can throw you out.
Three and 1 account on Russell Martin. 3-2. Leake in 09, up and down from the minor leagues to the major leagues. In 2010, he got 19 starts through a little more than 100 innings. But then in 2011, that number jumped up to 22 starts, and he's made better than 30 in each of the last 2 years. Over 200 innings each of the last 2 years. And he got him swinging. 1 away in the inning. Just shy of 200 innings, I stand corrected, last year. 192.
We've seen Russell Martin go after the breaking ball down and away many times. And that has been the result. Of course, the ball he hit up the middle, providing the game-winning run, was a breaking ball that stayed up early off Sam LeCure.
So 1 gone in the inning, and now Neil Walker, Pirates second baseman. He clubbed a pair of home runs in the first game of the series. Leake is making his 112th major league start here tonight. He has 43 wins. And just to put that into perspective, Homer Bailey, those were some of the numbers we were giving you about Bailey coming up in 07, 08, up and down a couple of years, 09 and 10. Bailey has made 146 major league starts. So 34 more games started than Leake, and has only won 6 more games than Mike Leake. Leake put together a sensational year last year. For a guy who's considered to be number 5 in your rotation when the year began, after Cueto went down, Cingrani came up, maybe he went to number 4. and won 14 games and had an ERA of 3.37. 2-1 account on Walker. I mean, that is one really good year for a lot of teams. Number 2, number 3 guy.
Well, I think when you look at Mike Leake and his whole body of work, he's not gonna blow the radar gun away, even though he has a fastball that will reach 93. He manipulates the fastball and he locates and he can change speeds. That's what pitching is about. Throwing is how hard you throw.
Bobbled by Votto, still has time. And gets the out with a runner advancing on to third. 2 away in the inning.
Anything hit to the right side of the infield as a pitcher, you bust it to first base just in case the ball takes a bad hop or it's misplayed by the right side infielder. You're there to make the play. You could see Leake right away. Didn't hesitate a second. Never stopped. Kept right on going. He's there for the bobble.
So now Mike will work out of his regular windup with a runner at third and 2 out to face Gabby Sanchez. A pair of solo home runs for the Pirate first baseman in game 1 of the series. It's ball 1.
And Sanchez right now in the early going still trying to prove to manager Clint Hurdle he can hit right-handed pitching on a regular basis. This was talked about a lot in spring training. That's the reason they have Travis Ishikawa in that dugout. Supposed to be a platoon, but right now Sanchez swinging the bat well against right-handed pitching.
No score. We're in the second inning. Runner at third with 2 outs. Leake has fallen behind 2-0. And that ball is clobbered into left field. Off the wall. Sanchez will be held to a long single, but it's a run producing single. 1-0 Pittsburgh here in the second inning.
That ball did not miss going out of here, but maybe about 2 feet. That was a rocket. 2-0 fastball, belt high. Actually, that may have been above the belt. Wow. That ball got to the wall so fast he didn't have time to round first base.
Offense was a major issue for these Pirates a year ago. That one's in the air off to the first base side. Votto over near the stands, runs out of room. I mean, for a team that won 94 games, they were among the worst offensive clubs in the National League. They were 11th in batting average. As a team, they hit .245 and finished 9th in the league in runs scored. But my, oh my, in 2 days, they're swinging the bats like Pittsburgh Pirates teams from years gone by.
This doesn't appear to be the type of swings that we saw from this group last year.
No.
They are coming out of their shoes.
Oh, and 2 to the shortstop, Jordy Mercer, off to a very slow start. And that one fouled back out of play. Mercer took over as a regular shortstop last year, and then we remember that Friday night in September when he fielded that routine ground ball by Todd Frazier, threw the ball in the stands. It would have been the final out of the game. The Reds scored 3 runs in the 9th inning to win it eventually in 10. And over the last couple of weeks of the year, Clint Hurdle gave that job back to Clint Barmes. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Mercer has hit the ball better than Barmes on a regular basis, but Barmes is probably more solid in the defensive area. But let's face it, if you're a big league shortstop, you ain't bad with the glove, or you're not playing. They're gonna move you to third or the bench
or out of town.
Thank you.
1-2 on Mercer, chokes up on that bat, and the fastball misses inside. Mercer owned left-handed pitching last year, and I mean owned him. He hit over 400 against left-handers, but against right-handers he was down in the 240s. And only batting 143 to begin this season.
Doesn't like that breaking ball going away from him.
At Brandon Phillips, the feed for the force out to end the inning, a scoring inning. 1-0 Pittsburgh.
Game changer, and on the 67th anniversary of Jackie Robinson breaking the color barrier in Major League Baseball, no better time to honor him, because no one has been a bigger game changer than him. Not only did he break the color barrier in baseball, but he truly changed society. Now, he'll be forever remembered as breaking that color barrier, but let us not forget, he was a great player. Hall of Famer, hit the ground running, 1947 Rookie of the Year, and went on to have six All-Star appearances, was the National League MVP in 1949, and this is the 6th consecutive year, Tom and Cowboy, that everyone in Major League Baseball will wear number 42 on this date. And if you remember back, former Red Ken Griffey Jr. had a lot to do with that, and talking to Commissioner Bud Selig about honoring Jackie in this way, and it's unprecedented in any sport. Baseball's the only one to do it.
And that is a tradition that will live forever in baseball, that you can pretty much take to the bank. What an amazing man he was, by all accounts, from all the stories and books that have been written about him.
And not just a baseball player.
No.
Lettered in 4 sports at UCLA. Only one ever to do that. I mean, we're talking UCLA.
Truly an amazing man. I mean, you turn on the news every night and you see terrible stories on the news, and frequently they start with being called a bad name. And you think of all the bad things that Jackie Robinson was called by thousands and thousands of people, daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, for a long, long time. And the courage and the strength he showed should hopefully live in us all.
Now, if you haven't seen the movie 42, you should see it. It's not going to give you the whole picture, but it'll give you a little taste.
2-2 the count on Todd Frazier, leading off the Reds' second inning. The Pirates scored in the top half of this frame and have a 1-0 lead. Russell Martin better have 2 hands he's given the signs with, because you saw Cole just say shake off 4 times in a row.
A lot of hitters will tell you, if you see the pitcher shake yes and then no, it's a fastball. Yes for the fastball, no on the location. That points to trouble.
That fastball at 97 miles per hour.
I learned that lesson the hard way. Eddie Murray. Terry Kennedy came back out to the mound. He said, if you want a different location, just stand there. Don't shake no. They know a fastball's coming.
You weren't the only guy that Eddie Murray got.
No.
I have news for you. If I'm not mistaken, he hit over 500 home runs, did he?
Yes.
Over 3,000 hits.
Yes, he did. The only problem is the one he hit off me is still going.
Bouncer over the mound. Fielded by Mercer, and Frazier retired, 1 away.
Come on, Rock, come on.
Well, just a reminder, I know you're looking forward to our Miller Time moment. That'll be coming up later on in the night. For those of you cozy inside, you take a look at that picture right there. It looks like a beautiful spring night.
It does, doesn't it?
And you know what? Just looking at it, it is a beautiful spring night until you start looking at some of the attire. I mean, last night we were playing in 65-degree weather. And then it started tumbling down overnight. Woke up with a little bit of snow on the ground this morning. It's been in the 30s, maybe peaking around 40 all day long. And as the sun fades away, we'll be back in the 30s tonight. But tomorrow's supposed to be up over 60 and bright sunshine. 1-1 on Roger Bernardino.
You didn't see all that red. You'd think that you were at a Bengals game.
Well, you're not lying. Maybe an Ohio State game or UC game with a little bit of that red. It really does feel like a football game weather-wise tonight.
I would agree.
Take a look at that lid. You need one of those, Cowboy, with the ear flaps on them. Right up here in the booth when you come over to the TV side. That one right there on the right, the white one.
Give me a cowboy hat like that.
With flaps on it, how would that go?
Those droopy ears coming down there. Take it right on down to the farm.
3-2 on Bernardino. I'd say a Brutus Buckeye hat there, I think. It's a nice lid.
I want the blanket.
Dad snuggled up. His little girl hanging out. 3-2 pitch. And there's ball 4. Good at bat. Couple good at bats in this inning. I mean, Frazier made it out, but he made Cole throw 8 pitches in the at bat, and now Bernardino draws a walk.
Well, you've got to think, Tom, that every ball game in the Central this year, in the National League Central, is going to be like what we've seen. You're playing the Cardinals. It's 1-run ball games. The Pirates obviously are going to be competitive all the way to the end, and the way the Brewers are playing right now, better pack a lunch.
Bernardino takes off, and no chance for Martin. That's an easy stolen base. It takes Cole a while. We mentioned he goes 6'4", 240 plus.
Russell Martin never had a chance. Bernardino fleet of foot anyway, but with that big high leg kick from Garrett Cole, you're not getting him.
Russell Martin threw out better than 40% of the would-be base stealers a year ago. This year, the Pirates have only thrown out 1 of 12 base stealers. Devin Mesoraco is our steel power tool performer. One of 2 Reds all time to have an extra base hit in his first 5 games of the year. Cal Daniels did it in '88. But Mesoraco hoping to continue that streak here tonight. Full there, down and away, hard slider, 1-2 the count.
You watch Garrett Cole, Tom, when he sets in the stretch, he continues to bounce that glove. You have to come to a complete stop before you come plateward. He keeps those hands moving to keep that rhythm so he doesn't have to stop.
Mesoraco with a base hit trying to tie this thing up. Didn't chase it that time. Broken bat, flare, short right field, and it'll fall in a base hit. Of course, Bernardina had to make sure it would fall, so he will only advance 90 feet, but the runners are at the corners with 1 away for Zach Kozar.
Fastball gets a little bit of the plate on the inside corner. Mesoraco does a good job just getting his hands inside the baseball. If you're Bernardina there, you can't take a chance that that's just going to fall in without a dive from Snyder after seeing what he did running almost into the wall last night. He got hit in the face with the baseball.
Now Kozar. On the ground to third. There's one. Inning over. And a 2. Pirates lead 1-0. Brought to you by Elk & Elk, serious lawyers for serious injuries. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. Look at the 1-run games. Pirates and the Reds have tied for the most played thus far in this season. But my, oh my, what a difference in winning and losing.
That's the difference between being over 500 and way under.
Mike Leake set to face Garrett Cole as we're set to begin the top half of the 3rd inning. It is a 1-0 Pirate lead.
Hey, what, Garrett Cole is a big fella.
Oh for 4 this year. But he had 7 hits and 34 at bats last year. A bouncer at Brandon, 1 away. So now back to the top of the order we go. Starling Marte struck out swinging when Link fanned the side in the first inning. Link walked Pedro Alvarez to begin the second. He promptly stole second base. And then a 2-out RBI single by Sanchez off the left field wall knocked in the game's only run. It was a 2-out single by Russell Martin in the 7th inning, game 1 of this series, that proved to be the difference in the 1-run win.
I've got to believe, Tom, that you see a guy like Pedro Alvarez stealing second base. If you're an opponent that the Reds are about to play, there's going to be a lot of running on Devin Mesoraco until he figures it out. I know he's swinging the bat awfully well, but a guy like Pedro Alvarez can't be letting him take second base. He's got to be thrown out.
Swing and a miss. Second time Marte is struck out.
Got him on the slider the first time. He goes up and away with a fastball here. Marte swings right through it. It's now 5 strikeouts for Leake.
He had 6 strikeouts total in his first 2 starts of this year. Now Travis Snyder, he struck out swinging in the opening inning and looks at ball 1. 2 down and nobody on. This is an all Pac-12 battle tonight. We mentioned Leake out of Arizona State, and I guess it's only fitting on Jackie Robinson Day. You brought up earlier Cowboy. He was a UCLA Bruin. So too is Garrett Cole. Dribbled foul. Back in those days when Leake and Cole were pitching for their respective universities, it was known as a Pac-10. They've just recently added Colorado and I believe Utah into that conference. Two and two on Snyder.
Of course, it was just a few years ago where there were teams in conferences now that were from one side of the country now moved to the other.
Yeah, that's had very little change. At Votto, and he'll gather his momentum, feed the covering Leak, and that's all for the Pirates in the 3rd. 1-0 Pittsburgh in front. Enjoy lunch and baseball for only $15 here at the old ballpark. Now you have to buy these in advance of game day, and it's tomorrow at 12:35. For tickets, call 513-381-REDS or visit reds.com/skipwork. Reds bat against Garrett Cole here in the last of the third inning. The Pirates with a 1-0 lead. Cardinals and the Brewers will be teeing it up here shortly. That 9-game winning streak for Milwaukee came to an end last night at the hand of Lance Lynn. He was on top of his game last night.
Well, you had to believe sooner or later Lynn would figure it out and get things in the right direction.
That ball is smoked into left center field off the bat of Lee. And this will be a double to begin the Reds' third inning. I was just starting to say, I bet you, going back to college, those two locked up with one another.
And I think you would be correct in that, Tom, because Leake not only pitched, but he was also the designated hitter in a lot of ball games. He stroked that baby. And that was no get me over fastball either. That was 94 with some movement in on the hands.
Well, I like those black jackets. You like those?
I do too.
Man, they look good. I liked when the Reds were wearing those black jerseys.
I did too. I like those.
In spring training. I think that's their road warm-up jersey they'll be wearing. During batting practice, that kind of thing. Heisey puts down the bunt, and he'll advance a runner. More than likely was not asked to do that. It looked like he was trying to bunt more for a hit while at the same time moving Leake down to third. And Mike's down there with one out and Votto coming up.
Well, in that situation for Heisey, whether you're asked to do it or not, Heisey's able to bunt the ball in drag bunt fashion and still get down the sacrifice. If you get it down and it's down the line and you can beat it out, well, even better.
Now the infield in. Votto hit a bullet into right field for a single in the first inning and takes strike one. Joey Votto, 3 home runs, 6 runs batted in. Leake started this inning with a double into left center field. Infield in with Leake at third, and Votto takes a fastball off the outside corner. 2 balls and a strike. Two and one to Joey Votto. And into center field. That'll be a base hit to tie the game.
Nice. Whoa. Did you see the back end of that bat?
Yes, I did.
Hit the mask of Russell Martin after it kicked off the back shoulder of Votto. Whoa.
Man, that's scary stuff.
I bet Votto could hear that ball hit the mask. That's what made him turn around.
Thankfully, Martin still had that mask on, and everything's all right. So Votto delivers the goods, and he's really starting to heat up.
He's getting the bat through the zone as good as I've seen him in a long time. Clearing the hips. That first ball that he smoked into right field, he got through that in a hurry.
So Votto at first, 1 away, 1-0 on Brandon Phillips. He just does not look like he's picking the ball up coming out of Cole's hand at all. He struck out looking in the first inning and has had a number of those in each of his first 2 at-bats already tonight.
Well, right-handed batters against Cole, because of that boring fastball with the high velocity, you want to make sure you get your hand started so you can get the bat head to the baseball if it's running in on you. And then when the ball goes the opposite direction, you look as Phillips did there.
Two balls and a strike. And that one through the left side, and Votto will advance on to second base. Everybody who's come up there swinging in this inning for the Reds has a base hit. The only out is when Heisey gave himself up with the sacrifice bunt.
This is the pitch that Brandon Phillips was looking for. The fastball down in the strike zone. You know that's where Garrett Cole is going with a runner at first, looking for the double play, and Phillips able to jerk it through the left side.
But now Jay Bruce. Nice block on that breaking ball down in the dirt by Russell Martin. Ball 1 to Jay.
This is where Garrett Cole gets himself in a little bit of trouble, trying to make the breaking ball a little bit too good with runners aboard. And the Reds starting to sit on that fastball a little bit.
Now this should be the second double play of the night, and it is. Reds get 3 hits, they get a run. And at the end of 3, we're tied at 1. Interact with other fans and Reds insiders on our Game Day Live page right now. Now McCoy has more on the steps Aroldis Chapman is making to get back on the mound, and what was a former Buckeye Hoops player reaction to Miley Cyrus wearing an Ohio State jersey. FoxSportsOhio.com. It's brought to you by 1-800-SAFE-AUTO. Drive safe, spend less.
You know, there's more folks around here than you think that say right now.
Well, believe me, I have my whole family doing it since I've been spending time with you over these last 8 baseball seasons. My son, daughter, wife, they're all going, hey, Dad, we got to get going right now.
Yes, sir.
Right now. I got him saying, instead of thank you, I just got him saying thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, when they come home with that spelling test and it's spelled R-A-T or R-A-H-T.
There's a base hit into left field by McCutchen. And he's aboard to begin the 4th inning. And we pointed out earlier that Pedro Alvarez stole second base back in the 2nd inning. And one would assume Alvarez will watch McCutchen take off shortly.
I would say so. Well, Frazier almost got to that baseball. Leake was trying to get that ball in on the hands of McCutchen, just didn't quite get it in there far enough.
Almost quick pitched him there and missed down low, ball 1. Alvarez walked, stole a base, scored the only Pirate run on the 2-out single by Sanchez in the 2nd inning.
I think he was going there, Tom. A little bit of hesitation before diving back into the bag.
Breaking ball misses. 2-0 now on the Pirate third baseman.
Say, those shoes McCutchen has on, you can see those across the river.
That looks like something one of the Pittsburgh Steelers might be wearing.
Those are live and in concert. Be a yellow blur heading to second.
Those look like the ones. Remember back in the Steeler days when they had Bradshaw and, you know, the Mean Joe Green, all those guys. They had that running back Frenchie Fuqua. Remember him? And he wore all those outrageous clothes. And
he was looking good.
He was looking really good. Those shoes would be something that he might have been wearing. Well, they had some characters on those teams.
Oh, and they could play.
Oh, man, could they ever. 3-1 now on Alvarez.
Look, when you're winning 4 straight Super Bowls, you can do whatever you want. And you can wear whatever kind of clothes you want.
And they had it going on.
Yes, they did.
One big lead over there for McCutchen, not running 3-1, and a bouncer into right field to hit. McCutchen making a turn on his way to third. Bruce's throw to the bag, not in time. Great throw by Bruce, but just a half a step late. And the Pirates have him on the corners with nobody out.
Well, McCutchen got a great break, realizing how high the hop was coming towards Votto. Once he set that ball hit grass, he kicked it into high gear. If that ball's hit any harder at all, Jay's got to play at third. Two seeing eye singles.
This was the pattern really set last night by the Pirates. No sooner would they take the lead, the Reds would come back, take the lead themselves. And I mean before you caught your breath. The Pirates were either hitting a home run to tie the game, and then the very next batter they'd be hitting a home run to take the lead. So here after the Reds tied the game in the third inning, Pirates have them on the corners with nobody out, and that's strike one to Russell Martin. A pair of double play balls have really hurt the Reds in this game. They had him on the corners with one out in the second inning. Cozart the double play. 2 on 1 out in the third. Bruce the double play. Leak a long look in to Mesoraco. A ball and a strike on Russell Martin.
I think the Reds would trade a double play for a run right here.
Strike two. Martin did not agree.
Leak took a lot off of that pitch, and it really took off across the plate. Watch Mesoraco's glove. Wow. He's setting up away, thinking that ball's going to drop right on the outside, and it just took off across the dish.
Martin struck out swinging his first time up. Leak would love a repeat performance of that right here and right now with runners on the corners and nobody out. 1-1 game. We're in the fourth.
Back to the breaking ball.
Back to the mound. And Leak throws it into center field. Runner advancing on to third. Throw is late there. And the Pirates have a 2-1 lead. It looked like, Cowboy, they had the runner coming from third easily.
I think that is where Mike made his mistake. I think he realized as he turned to throw to second instinctively that he forgot to look to third. And I think that's what caused the throw over the head of Brandon Phillips. Just that temporary lapse of concentration. You don't see that from Leak ever.
So it'll be a fielder's choice and an error on Mike Leak. Martin will get credit for an RBI. And they're on the corner, still nobody out, with a run home and Neil Walker the batter. And a tapper to Votto. He will come to the plate. And they have Alvarez in a rundown. Frazier makes the tag there. So they cut down the lead runner for the first out of the inning.
We have now seen 4 ground balls. The first 2 went through the infield. The ground ball back to Leak, and now that ground ball to Votto. It's not as though they're ripping the ball off of Leak. They're hitting the ball on the ground, which is what he's trying to make them do anyway.
Well, had he made that play on the prior ground ball right to him, he might be knocking on the door here and getting out of this thing without a single run scoring. But first things first. He's got Sanchez, who hammered one off the left field wall for an RBI single back in the second inning, and that's strike one. Breaking ball stays high, a ball and a strike on Gabby Sanchez. Another line drive, and this one caught by Heisey. 2 down in the inning.
Boy, Sanchez is killing the baseball right now. A line drive off the left field wall that he only hit it with a single because he hit it too hard, and then a bullet right there.
So now one more out to go for Mike Leak. And the batter is Jordy Mercer, the Pirates shortstop. He hit a ground ball at Brandon Phillips to end the second inning. Breaking ball and a beauty for a strike. Pirates got on the board in the second inning on a walk to Alvarez, a stolen base, and he scored on a single by Sanchez. Reds tied it in the third inning on a run-scoring single by Joey Votto, scoring Leake, who had started the inning with a double. Pirates get a couple of ground ball base hits. A throwing error brings in the tie-breaking run, and they're at first and second with 2 away, and now 0-2 on Mercer. In the air, shallow center field, and Bernardina there. That's a nice job by Leake. Really good job. He does give up a run, but that's all. Reds are down a run.
Robinson Day, obviously, and one of the most famous games that Jackie Robinson played in his career actually happened right here in Cincinnati. It was his inaugural season. It was actually the first game of the second road trip for the Brooklyn Dodgers in 1947, and Reds fans were really giving him the business that day, and Louisville, Kentucky's own Pee Wee Reese, well, he put a halt to that, and there's actually a statue commemorating this moment outside of a Brooklyn baseball park, outside of the Brooklyn Cyclones field. It's designed to commemorate that moment. When they were, Cincinnati fans were just giving it to him, and Pee Wee went over there and put his arm around Jackie, who was playing first base on that day. It was a show of support that temporarily left the crowd in awe. It silenced them. The act of racial empathy by Reese, a popular all-star from nearby Kentucky, was one of the most famous things that's happened, and it's depicted in that movie that Cowboy was talking about, the movie 42. But as we go back to the booth, guys, there are some that question whether or not that moment even happened. But as history says, it's one of the greatest baseball stories of all time.
Well, Jim Day, thank you very much. First pitch swinging off the chest of Alvarez, but he throws in time to get Frazier. 1 pitch and 1 out. Well, it's great to have Jim Day, a regular part of our telecast here on Fox Sports Ohio this year. Of course, he's handled through many, many years of pregame, postgame, still does. But now with us in the game. Strike one to Roger Bernardina.
I like seeing the fans go nuts down there after the game.
Well, you know, I'm hoping that sometime very, very soon, and we know now after what happened in Game 1, it's not going to happen in this series. When the Reds sweep a series and Jim breaks out that brew on the post-game set. He's got that last sort of high finish down to a T. Bernardino lifts a fly ball at Marte in left field. So 2 very quick outs for Garrett Cole here in the Reds' 4th inning, and now to be Devin Mesoraco. 4 pitches to get 2 outs. This is where the Reds and really many teams, I guess, if you watch them play every day, Cowboy, go through stretches like this. But the Reds seem to be at times one of those teams, and I was talking to Don Long, their hitting coach, about this, about how, you'll see games like that Cardinal game where the closer comes in, Rosenthal, and all of a sudden guys are taking good eye at the plate, extended at bats, taking walks. And then they'll go through stretches where this is going to be a 6-pitch inning for Garrett Cole. And the Reds are gone in order. We'll talk about that when we come back. We're off to the 5th. Pirates with a 2-1 lead. In the Sharp Business Solutions Conference Center right here at Great American Ballpark, right around the corner from our booth. And let the Reds give new meaning to your company's breakout session. For more information, call the Reds Special Events Department at 765-7065. Now, of all the hats we've seen so far for the Cowboy, I think that one might be at the top of the list. Can you get a Cowboy hat with those things coming off of them?
The only thing that I would change about that is maybe have that be rib bones instead of carrots.
Well, I would almost be willing to make a very small wager as Garrett Cole looks at a strike. That no sooner do those words come out of your mouth, there is someone creating that hat just for you.
It'd be mighty tasty.
Right back to Leak, and he will throw out Cole, and that's the way the Pirates' 5th inning begins. Pittsburgh with a 2-1 lead. It's now time for you to tweet your photo using hashtag OhioFanPhoto for a chance to have it shown during an upcoming telecast. So a beautiful photo from opening day a little bit earlier, and it's brought to you by AT&T. Cardinals and the Brewers are underway. They're scoreless at the end of one. Estrada against Shelby Miller in that one. Brought up earlier because of the terrible weather that left here. And weather that was also coming from the southwest and moving northward. A number of games were called off by 3 o'clock this afternoon that were slated to be played tonight. They called it off in Detroit. The Cubs and Yankees postponed. They'll play a doubleheader at Yankee Stadium tomorrow. Atlanta in Philadelphia, Tampa Bay and Baltimore all washed out. 1-2 to Marte.
I think if you look at the temperatures all over the country, it's not just here in Cincinnati. It's north of us. It goes all the way down into Atlanta. It's cold.
Well, you know, you look at that Cubs-Yankee series. It begins now. It'll be tomorrow. We'll play a doubleheader in the Bronx, and boy, you look at those two franchises and the history of those two franchises. What the Yankees, 27 World Championships, and they're playing a team that has not won a World Series title since 1908.
Ouch.
Marte gone swinging for the third straight time.
Got him on the cut fastball the first time up. Threw him a high fastball to strike him out the second time, and he gives him the curveball to give him the hat trick.
Snyder rolls over 1-2 Phillips. He'll wait for Votto to get to the bag, and Link goes through the order. 1, 2, 3. Cozart, Link, Heisey coming up. Reds down a run. Sports Ohio brought to you by JTM Food Group. Let's create great dishes together. By Toyota. For over 30 Toyota offers, visit buyatoyota.com. Go for the save on Wing Tuesdays with specially priced wild wings all day. Buffalo Wild Wings. And by T-Mobile Tuesday Night Baseball. The great Joe Morgan. That statue, of course, unveiled last summer. That was a big day here at Great American Ballpark, bringing tears to the eyes of the Hall of Fame Red second baseman.
That is one cool statue.
Zach Cozart looks at a strike. He bounced into a double play with runners on the corners and one out to end the second inning.
I mean, think about it, Tom. How many statues do you see that look like they're in motion?
You're right.
That one does.
There he is. Well, Joe was so moved by that entire process. Obviously, the decision to do it, sitting there alongside Reds general manager Walt Jockney, and then the unveiling of it. All of his teammates, from the Big Red Machine days were here. There's strike 3 called to Cozart. 1 out. It's only the second strikeout of the game by Garrett Cole.
Cole has had a good fastball tonight, but he has not quite had the feel of the breaking ball as I've seen him in other starts. Of course, this is the first time he's ever faced any of the Reds.
Really was hard to believe with all the games these two teams played against one another. And you may remember coming on back-to-back weekends to end the season that the Reds did not see Cole.
And I would bet, Tom, if it had been flipped where the Reds were playing the Pirates versus the Cardinals playing the Pirates, A.J. Burnett would have made that start and not Garrett Cole.
Well, they tried to bring A.J. Burnett back to this team. They offered him a 1-year qualifying offer that would have paid him right around $14 million. And then after waiting and waiting and waiting, the Philadelphia Phillies gave Burnett a 2-year contract. Back-to-back strikeouts here in the Reds' 5th. Well, if a Red hits a home run off that Toyota sign out by the Power Stacks in right center field, Dr. Michael Carl from Mason, Ohio will win a beautiful new Tundra. That one right there. And you can register for your chance to win at an upcoming game. To stop by your Cincinnati or Northern Kentucky Toyota dealer.
Well, if everything is thrown out there with that situation with A.J. Burnett and the Pirates, I think A.J. Burnett told the Pirates he was either going to sign with them or he was going to retire, and then changed his mind. Now, yes, you have that prerogative, but I thought the Pirates were pretty good to it.
Easiest fly to left, put down a sacrifice bunt, and this one into left field, a base hit. The only inning the Reds do not have a hit against Cole came in the 4th when Frazier, Bernardina, and Mesoraco were retired in order on 6 pitches. So now Votto gets a chance to bat with a man aboard, and the Reds down a run. Joey 2 out of 2. Single to right and an RBI single to center in the 3rd inning. Strike 1.
Now, how about this shift that the Pirates put on in the infield against Votto? They shift around, pull side on the infield. Check out the outfield. They're all playing for him to hit the other way. Pirates are banking that Votto will hit the ground ball in pull fashion and fly ball the other way. Of course, if he catches that right center field gap, Heisey scores from first base.
One ball and one strike to Joey. And he is our IGS bringing the energy performer. Highest career on-base percentage against the Pirates going all the way back 100 years. Only the former Pirate, Barry Bonds, higher than Joey Votto. He did not go around on the appeal down to the third base umpire Phil Cuzzy. 2 balls and a strike.
Umpires look like they're dressed as ninjas with those masks pulled up over their noses.
Good stuff. 2-1 now to Votto. Runner goes, swing and a miss, throw down to second, not going to be in time. So now these Pirates are making life miserable. The pitchers are for Martin, because as good as he was last year, we brought it up earlier, they are now 1 out of 14 trying to throw out would-be base stealers.
That was a pretty good throw there by Martin. Even though the ball bounced, it got there in a hurry. But you could see Garrett Cole in that first shot took that knee back behind the rubber. You got to get the ball to the plate in a hurry if you want to get the base run.
Well, now Votto with a chance with a base hit here to tie this game up. 2-2 on the way. Look out. Is that off our camera? And I am hoping our cameraman is all right down there. Our buddy Billy Lutz working that camera down by the Pirate dugout, and it took a piece of our camera off. And I think may have jarred him in the head. Here's a look at it right there.
I think it went off the camera and caught Billy in the chest.
Well, I hope he's all right. Three and 2 to Votto. Pirate folks down there making sure Billy's all right.
This is a pitch here. If you're Garrett Cole, you pick your poison. You either make a very difficult pitch for Votto to get to and let him trot down to first base with a walk, or you strike him out. Or swing like that.
Went 97 miles per hour in Votto in 2-strike mode, able to hang around.
You have a base open. The tying run stands at second base. You've got a right-handed batter on deck. And I believe that's probably the discussion that's happening right now with Russell Martin and Garrett Cole. Got a veteran catcher and a youngster on the hill.
Votto trying to deliver with a runner at second and 2 outs. And he draws a walk. Good at bat there by Joey. And now it's up to Brandon Phillips to try and plate that tying run.
After 2 bullets by Votto, you really had to make a very difficult pitch. You either go for the called strike 3 and paralyze Votto, or you walk him and you go after this guy. On a 3-2 count, I'm not laying one in there for Votto.
Phillips struck out looking in the first inning. Then had some funny swings to begin his second at bat in the third. But he wound up bouncing one through the left side into left field for a base hit. Lined into right field, but right at Travis Snyder, and that'll end the inning. Reds strand 2. They've left 5 in the game and trail by a run. playoffs against Sidney Crosby and the Pittsburgh Penguins. Game 1, 7 o'clock with Blue Jackets live right here on Fox Sports Ohio. That'll be tomorrow night. Of course, early in the day tomorrow at 12:30, we have a game right here on Fox Sports Ohio, the Reds and the Pirates. We'd love to have you come on down to the ballpark and join us. 12:35 first pitch tomorrow. Johnny Cueto v. Francisco Liriano. Frazier the pirouette throws out Andrew McCutchen. 1 pitch, 1 out. Leake is pitching a splendid ball game once again here tonight. He walked the leadoff man in the second inning. That was Alvarez. He stole second base, got to third with 2 outs, and Sanchez beat him on a liner to left to make it 1-0. Reds tied it in the third. Then a couple of ground balls by McCutchen and Alvarez got through the infield. Pirates had runners on the corners with nobody out. They would only score 1 run in that inning, and that was on an error by Mike Leake. So here he is in the 6th. He's only allowed 3 base hits. And a couple of harmless fly balls by his offense, and the Reds would have the 1-run lead. Just twice in this game they had major scoring chances, only to watch double play ground balls end innings. Pulled foul.
Oh, that's a good pitch right there. You come in with a fastball and make the hitter open his hips and clear his hands. Then you come back with a changeup. Can't even pull the trigger right here. It's not there yet.
And that is strike 3 called a fastball knee high on the outside corner. And Alvarez has words with the home plate umpire Brian Knight.
Maybe asking him what kind of paint was that.
That's wrapping up the second coat.
Yeah.
So Leake has more strikeouts in this game through 5 2/3 innings, 7 of them, than he had in either of his first 2 starts combined. His career high in strikeouts is 8, accomplished twice back in the 2011 season both times, and now 1-1 on Russell Martin.
Backswing from Martin there got Mesoraco. On a night like tonight, that stings. Watch the bat as it comes around after the swing and miss. Bam! Right on the wrist.
Cowboy, I don't know if you'd be the right guy to ask this question or not, because I don't know how many times you actually had a chance to talk to somebody else who did it. Guys catching you about how close a catcher should get to home plate.
Depends on where the batter is in the batter's box.
Ozart appeared to be fooled by that and made a brilliant play to field it cleanly and throw him out. We'll get back to that in a minute. 1, 2, 3. Bruce, Frazier, Bernardina coming up. Reds trail 2-1. UFC's next generation of fighters. They'll go head-to-head with the UFC contract on the line. An all-new season of The Ultimate Fighter. Team Edgar versus Team Penn. Only on Fox Sports 1 and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Mike Leake has only allowed 3 hits and 2 runs. But his team trails by a run as they bat against Garrett Cole here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. If you're just joining us, we had a stop play at the end of 6 last night in a 7-7 game. Resuming play earlier this afternoon. Pirates got a base hit in their first at bat. A 2-out single by that man on your right, Russell Martin, plating Andrew McCutchen, and that would be the only run over the final 3 innings of the game in an 8-7 Pirate win. Well, here's a guy the Reds need to get going and get going in a hurry. He's hit a couple of home runs and still has a team high 8 runs batted in. But Bruce only 7 hits in 45 at bats. And you almost wonder, and we've talked about it before, if the shift is starting to get in between the years at all. Every time that Bruce has hit a ground ball this year, it has gone for an out to the right side of the infield. Now, he talked about openly and honestly that, there will come a time where he's going to try to start to bunt and put down a hit and take what the defense will give him.
And he has worked on that in batting practice, just pushing the ball to the left side of the infield. And in this instance, he'd have a base hit.
But now with a 2-strike pitch, 2-ball count as well, and a full count to Jay Bruce.
And I think, Tom, I think you hit the nail on the head. I can't imagine that any hitter, when you see the unconventional shift, that it doesn't pop into your head. I could just flip that ball to the left side. It's not that easy.
And Jay will take the walk to begin the inning. We'll get ready for Reds action 30 minutes before the start of every game. That'll be at noon tomorrow on Reds Live, presented by Ray St. Clair Roofing, on your exclusive home for Reds baseball, Fox Sports Ohio. All right, the Reds are 2 out of 2 in stolen base attempts. I beg your pardon. The Pirates 2 out of 2. Reds successful in their only stolen base attempt. That was by Heisey in the 5th inning. And they did get one from Bernardino. And I was wondering, would Bruce take off? And there's no debate about it. Make it 3 out of 3.
And it's not about Russell Martin. It's about how quick Garrett Cole gets the ball to the plate. And when you're running on the first pitch, on first move, you know that the pitcher is slow getting the ball to the plate. 1.4 seconds or higher.
You got to admire the aggressiveness of Brian Price. I mean, there's no waiting around and fooling around. And now Bruce will go all the way to third.
That was a wild breaking ball. Started in the middle of the plate. Dove dead towards the first base dugout. Frazier was fooled, but so was the catcher Martin.
And this will get more than bring in the tying run, perhaps. It is gone!
Boy, Todd Frazier got some tremendous leverage on that ball. That was a one-handed swing, and he hits the ball out of right center. Watch this swing from Frazier. Lunges, one-handed, see you later on a breaking ball. Oh, baby.
Did you see that reaction by Cole? The second contact was made, even with that funny-looking swing. Cole knew immediately that had trouble written all over it.
Now, every pitcher knows when the ball comes out of your hand and it's a breaking ball, when it doesn't come out good, you can feel it. You're hoping they don't swing.
Watch Cole's reaction.
You can see that ball just spin up there.
You and I were talking about this Cowboy a little bit last night. It is just extraordinary how strong Todd Frazier is.
But the leverage that he got on the ball, I mean, it wasn't the speed of the pitch. And that's not the first time we've seen Frazier appear to get fooled on a pitch and hit the ball out of the ballpark. I mean, let's face it, he hit the pilot house in the air, dead center last year. May have hit somebody in that bathroom.
So the Reds with a 3-2 lead. It is their first lead of the game. And Bernardina, a fly ball to shallow center field. McCutchen finds it. And that's the first out of the inning. Mesoraco, a single and a ground out to third base. And Mesoraco with a second base hit of the game.
Strong kid. It's twice now where he's taken a ball that's run in on his hands and been able to fist the ball out of the infield. See where that ball hit? It was just above the white on the handle.
Well, Ray Searage looks like a fellow that's attended an NFL game, doesn't he?
Yes,
cruising out there at the beard, the little goatee working, gloves.
Just trying to settle down the youngster Garrett Cole. Throw a breaking ball, the guy hits it out of the ballpark, you know you hung it, immediately you're blaming yourself, and that's why Searage is out there. Hey, calm it down, let's get the out, let's go.
So now Cozart has bounced into a double play and struck out. And this should be his second double play if they can turn it, which they cannot. I just had an odd look to it. On the throw down to second base, Walker is hit so hard he was just trying to get to the bag.
Well, you see how fast the ball got to Alvarez. That's all on Neil Walker right there. I think he thought that Mesoraco was going to be on top of him, very similar to what we saw with Brandon Phillips earlier. He had plenty of time to turn that one over.
So now Leake's spot clears in the batting order, and you don't automatically chalk him up as an out to end the inning. He had a double into left center field and scored the first Reds run.
This is as out of sync as I've seen Cole here in this inning. You walk the first batter, you give up the opposite field homer on the hanging breaking ball. Normally, with a normal pitcher at the plate, you don't care if the guy runs or not. You got 2 outs, I'm going to get you out. The league is no normal hitting pitcher.
Launched into left field. Goodbye, Michael Leake.
No regular hitting pitcher.
His 3rd career home run.
What? Leake went out and got that ball. Fastball away, and he hooked it out of left field.
Well, that's a beautiful swing, isn't it?
Man, check this out. Booyah.
Leake hit a pair of home runs in 2012. This one popped up by Heisey. And that will do it. But what about the Red 6th inning? A 2-run home run by Todd Frazier. That one into right center. And then with 2 outs and a man aboard, Mike Leake. The Reds lead 5-2.
Take advantage of the first Reds 4 for $48 ticket offer of the season. Purchase 4 view-level tickets for only $48 and receive 4 free Reds hats. Cheer on your Red Legs when they take on the Brewers May 1st through the 4th. For tickets, call 513-381-REDS or visit reds.com/4 for 48. I'm Jim Day down here in the camera well, right next to the Pirates dugout. And I tell you what, on Twitter today, they were singing the praise Jackie Robinson. Billy Hamilton tweeting out today, thank you. It's an honor to wear number 42 tonight. Thank you for everything you did, Jackie Robinson. And Brandon Phillips took it a step further, also paying homage to Jackie Robinson. How about this photo of him in Jackie Robinson's 42 with a picture of Jackie behind him? That's good stuff right there. And also like to send out, pay homage to Larry Doby. In April of 1947, Jackie Robinson broke the color barrier, but it was Larry Doby who broke the color barrier in the American League with the Cleveland Indians. So he should be honored on this day as well, along with Chuck Harmon, who was honored before the game, the first African-American player for the Reds. Tom?
You are so right, Jim Day. Well, it was so great. It's always great to see Chuck Harmon. You talk about a wonderful guy. Debuted with the Reds April the 17th, 1954. And he will be celebrating his 90th birthday on April the 23rd. Well, what a great, great guy. His entire family. So now Leake given a 3-run lead, thanks in part to his 2-run home run a moment ago. A 4-run 6th inning. Walker, Sanchez, and Mercer 6, 7, 8. Here in the Pirates' 7th inning. Wanted that pitch for strike 3, didn't get it.
Tried to cut this fastball back to the outside corner. It just spins on him a little bit and stays out.
And a base hit into center field by Walker. Well, Walker had gotten off to a terrible start this year, but you would never know it. You would never know it the way he has swung the bat in this series. 3 hits in the first game, including a pair of home runs. Your partner obviously missed you tonight, Cowboy, because Dad, who obviously is stepping out of about 78, 80 degrees in that enclosed radio booth, has come over here to see you in the cold television booth.
I think he's coming over here just to look at me.
He's worried about you over here.
That's because I'm freezing.
Well, I can tell you one thing, Dad. One thing I can promise you you've never seen Cowboy do is that one is pulled fouls. He has been doing jumping jacks here in between innings, if you can believe that.
My blood going.
He has been doing jumping jacks in between innings to try and stay warm up here.
Tell you one thing, this headset's cold.
That's why I haven't taken mine off.
He's using those as earmuffs.
I'm worried about him. I'm not kidding you. I get a little bit concerned.
I went off the outside corner, 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Well, I will say this: I don't have to worry about the pollen right now because it's all.
No, you don't. You sound healthy. But as you well know, the windows go down on nights like this over there in radio.
Oh, tell me about it. Oh.
1-2, and that one again sweeps away. So you're nice and cozy over there in the radio booth tonight.
Well, not 100% because Kelch has a window open.
Oh, he does?
Yes.
I thought you said that.
My personality.
You're the big cheese in there.
No, but I defer. That people feel. I want everybody to feel comfortable when they come in there.
Really?
Yeah. The only one, the exception to that, is Creepy. He doesn't feel too comfortable when he comes in. There's Kelch. The window open.
Well, the window open. 3-2 the count.
I'd close that sucker. I'll just tell you right now.
I think we might have figured that out. Well, now the Reds have double barrel action out in their bullpen. They have a right-hander and a left-hander. Logan Ondrusek to your right, Manny Parra to your left. Been a good ball game here tonight.
Leake's pitched well for the 3rd straight time. He really has, and you know, we're talking, if there's a better athlete on this entire team than Mike Leake, the only one possibly would be Aroldis Chapman.
I would agree.
But Mike Leake's some kind of athlete. He truly is.
And he doesn't look like
no, he does not
necessarily. Chapman certainly does.
Yes, but this kid can run, he can hit, he can pitch. That's pretty impressive.
And he's got some belly and some heart.
Big time.
Well, he needs to make a pitch right here. He's been given a 3-run lead. Runner takes off. And trouble the Bruin. That one hooked down the left field line into the corner. Heisey over to cut it off. They are going to hold Walker at third, and they're at second and third with nobody out.
Gabby Sanchez is hitting the ball like he knows it's coming.
It's a nice play by Heisey. If that ball gets by him and goes to the wall, Walker easily scores. And by the time it finishes sort of going around in a half circle out there, who knows? There might be a runner standing at third with a run home. Now Jordy Mercer. He is bounced into a forced play and flied out to center. Breaking ball to strike. Oh, and 2. I remember when you used to do a little television. Maybe you ought to start coming back and doing a handful of games.
Nobody can remember that.
What do you think, Cowboy? Have him come over and do some TV games?
I can remember it.
I remember.
You can't have him when I'm on radio, though. You can have him when I'm somewhere else.
Or you could be in here.
I like wearing my jeans.
Me too.
Well, you can still put on a
and
sport
my boots
with jeans. Oh, and 2-1 Mercer. Straight away center field. Will stay in the ballpark. At the track, Bernardino tagging and scoring the runner at third, tagging and going to third, the runner at second, and it is a 5-3 ball game with one out here in the Pirates' 7th inning. Mike Leake looking in that dugout. I think he wants to make sure nobody's coming to get him. You've got Ishikawa, a left-handed batter, announced as a pinch hitter. And it's a pitching coach, Jeff Pico, not the manager, Brian Price.
I think as much as anything here, if you're Jeff Pico and Brian Price, you want to make sure you know exactly what Leake has left in the tank.
Garrett Cole officially lifted with the announcement at Ishikawa. It's interesting to note in this, his first career appearance against the Reds, this very talented 23-year-old right-hander allows 4 runs for the first time in a game in his career. That's only 22 starts. But the Reds are first team to get him for more than 4 runs in a game.
Happens to the best of them.
Ishikawa off the bench with a runner at third, 1 out. Reds in front 5-3. And Leake works out of the regular windup. Strike 1.
How big would this out be if you can strand Gabby Sanchez at third base after having second, third, nobody out?
Well, the Pirates had scored a run back in that 4th inning, and they had runners on the corners with nobody out, and did not score again after plating the first run on the Leake error when he overthrew the second base bag and it sailed into center field. Reds scored 4 in the bottom of the 6th inning on a pair of 2-run home runs by Frazier and Leake. Pirates have plated a run. Sanchez down at third with 1 out here in the top of the 7th inning. Strike 2.
Hard sinking fastball down and away. It's top speed for Leake in the game right now at 92.
Now trying to put Ishikawa away, and does.
That is some big time pitching right there, and that's why this is tonight's Mazda pitch by pitch. You get ahead early, paint fastball right on the outside corner, misses just a bit outside, comes down with the breaking ball. This is the pitch that does it for him. You get him to wave at it, so you start it off the plate and bring it back. See you later.
1 more out to go to preserve this 2-run lead, and Marte the batter. Strike 1. Marte has struck out swinging each of his first 3 chances tonight, and has struck out in his last 5 at bats, 6 of his last 7 trips to the plate.
Leake has got him on a different pitch each strikeout here tonight. Slider early, fastball the second time, and the curveball back in the 5th. I think I'd throw that again.
Well, if he does and it's the same result, you know where we're going, right?
Yes, sir. Billy.
0-2.
We got a piece of it.
First inning at bat, breaking ball away from him.
Oh, high hard one. About this curveball here.
That was the 3rd time up in the 5th. Here he is in a 7th. Leake has matched his career high with 8 strikeouts, and hits Marte with a fastball on an 0-2 pitch. Wow.
We may be seeing Manny Parr.
Of course, that would certainly counter a move by Clint Hurdle, and here comes Brian Price. Boy, what a shame.
Well, you had to go in there because of how much Marte went out to get the breaking ball on the pitch before. You go in, then you go back to the breaking ball. He just got it too far in. Great job.
Handshake there, Leake. You notice he stuck his hand out to shake his hand rather than hand into the ball. You see that?
Oh, yeah.
Nice round of applause for Leake. So now Manny Parra will more than likely be facing Tabata off the bench. We'll have to wait and see. He's a right-handed part of that platoon with Snyder out in right field. Skyline Chili called to the bullpen. He wants the ball. And Leake says, well, nice to see you. Now give me the ball. So far on the hook for 3 runs, only 5 base hits, matched his career high with 8 strikeouts in the game. Boy, and he has to feel mighty good about the way he pitched tonight in a game like most games when League goes up against the other team's number 1, maybe number 2, and he's right there with him toe to toe. But it is Manny Parra on to face Tabata. Runners on the corners, 2 outs. Parra brilliant after coming off the disabled list a season ago out of the Reds bullpen. And he has been brilliant to begin this 2014 season. But a big out here for Parra and the Reds. And it's ball 1.
Parra, when he faces right-handers, he's got an extra pitch to use. That turnover changeup almost acts as a screwball, going down and away from the right-hander.
Liner, and that's all for the Pirates. So Parra gets a final out. Pirates score a run. They strand 2, and Leak applauding the work of Parra. We go to the bottom of the 7th. The Reds 5, the Pirates 3.
Break from work tomorrow and enjoy lunch and baseball for only $15. Head to Great American Ballpark and cheer on your Red Legs when they take on these very Pirates. For tickets, call 513-381-REDS or visit reds.com/skipwork. Now, you got to purchase them in advance of tomorrow's game, so get online or get on the phone right now. And by the way, with that $15 ticket, you'll also get a $10 concession voucher, which will be built into your barcode. So, pretty good deal tomorrow, a business day special. Let's go back upstairs. Tom and Cowboy. While I'm down here in the cold, Cowboy said, stay down there because you can't come up here and borrow any of my heater. So that's why I've been down here and not up in the booth, because Cowboy won't let me.
Cowboy's all heart, Jim.
Yes,
you know that.
I know. He doesn't like to share that heater.
I mean, Joe Luckham and I are sitting here with icicles coming off our ears.
Stop it.
Cowboy snug as a bug in the old proverbial rug, and now taking over on the mound, Justin Wilson. Another one of the very talented members of this Pirate bullpen. We saw Watson in game 1. 0-2 on Votto. A fastball at 97 just off the outside corner.
Wilson tried to quick pitch Votto there. Instead of bringing the knee up high, he just slid it forward, tried to get the ball by him.
Well, what a job the Reds did tonight against a very talented right-hander, Garrett Cole. First time in his career, 22 starts, where where he gives up more than 4 runs in a game. Red's got 9 hits against him tonight in 6 innings and 5 runs. Broken bat, but good enough for a base hit. That's a second bat tonight shattered in the hands of Joey Votto, and both of them have turned out to be base hits. And he is on base for the 4th time in the game.
You could really see Votto adjust his hands to get on top of that baseball. Hard fastball riding up and in. Votto pulls his elbows to his rib cage, and really you could almost see the bat head driving up to get on top of the baseball.
Brandon Phillips is 1 of 3. Struck out looking, single to left, and hit a ball right on the nose, lining out to the right fielder, stranding a pair of runners in the 5th inning. Slow breaking ball there, and it's 0-2.
Phillips a slider on the first pitch down and in, and takes a curveball here and drops it right on his back foot.
Well, when you see that kind of arsenal, you wonder why this guy's not starting.
I would have to agree. Another slide. I mean, that ball's cutting in on Phillips at 92 miles an hour. This is the same pitcher that smoked Phillips in the left forearm last year.
Wilson had always been a starter through his entire minor league career, until they brought him to the major leagues the final month of the 2012 season. Since then, he's done nothing but pitch out of the bullpen.
And he has been highly effective out of that bullpen as well.
Tell you what, though, man, at 26 years old, that's a mighty good arm to have down in that bullpen. It's not to suggest for a second that you don't need great arms in the bullpen. Signed this guy out of high school, out of Clovis, California. Foul ball.
It's just right down the road from Fresno.
You look at some of his minor leagues year. He won 11 games in one season, 10 games in another. ERA from the very low 3s. Highest it ever got was his first year, but that's 2009. You kind of throw out numbers like that as guys learn to pitch. Last year as a starter at AAA, 25 starts, 1.9 at an ERA at 3.7. But the thing that really held him back was walks.
That's what I was just about to say. Was it a command issue? May have been.
Yes.
Because this guy's not a finesse guy. He just rears back and cuts it loose.
And to some extent, it's still an issue, I guess, to a lesser extent. But nonetheless, he walked almost 30 batters in just over 70 innings out of the bullpen. Two and two. That was last year. But he had seasons in the minor leagues where he'd strike out a ton of guys. But he was walking anywhere from 55 to 71. That's pretty much your answer.
There you go.
8th pitch in this at bat against Brandon Phillips. Reds batting in the 7th inning. And a bouncer over the mound. The runner will advance on to second base. And Phillips thrown out, 1 away in the inning. Oh, invite your photos using hashtag #OhioFanPhoto. And now our fan photo of the game presented by AT & T. Look at Jason We thank you very much for that. Bruce into shallow left field, and Marte with a spectacular tumbling grab to take away a base hit for Jay Bruce.
That was a great play. Not only with the speed to close on the ball, but the dive and the snag in backhand fashion. He scraped this right off the top edge of the turf. I mean, another split second, that ball bounces. Look at that. He almost stepped on his glove.
Yep. I thought for a minute he did.
Man, that's a great play.
So now Frazier will hit the big 2-run home run with the Reds down a run in the 6th inning. That was into right center field. And they're going to intentionally walk him and face Roger Bernardino. I'll tell you what, you got to give it up to these fans here tonight. Almost 19,000 in attendance, and golly, day has hit a cold night. Mentioned last night, a lot of the local Catholic schools, some of the parochial schools are out this week celebrating Good Friday, of course, and then Easter over the weekend, and so a lot of the youngsters are out of the ballpark. But my, oh my, it is a cold night tonight. Look at her. I think the big fella's talking her into sticking around.
Kind of like you did with me.
Broken bat. A play to first, and Bernardino beat it out.
That's big time hustle right there. You could tell where the ball was hit. They were going to have some issues, and when Walker cut it off, didn't have a whole lot of momentum to get anything on the throw.
No doubt about that one. Safe call. And Clint Hurdle coming out to get his left-hander Wilson. So after a young man dominated the Reds last year, first time he sees them here in 2014, he's the one walking off the mound without finishing the inning.
Well, I don't think anybody's going to forget that he smoked Phillips.
base and the Reds players. Reds Live brought to you by King's Honda. Reds have them loaded against a new Pirate pitcher.
Jenmar Gomez. It has not been a pretty start for this right-hander. This will be his 4th ball game. 7 innings pitched. He's allowed 6 earned runs. 2 have left the ballpark.
And facing Devin Mesoraco. Down a strike. 2 more hits in the game tonight for Devin. Still trying to keep that string alive of notching an extra base hit in every game he has played to begin this season, the first 5 after beginning the year on the disabled list. Reds lead 5-3. Fido, Frazier, Bernardina aboard.
Well, you could sure give yourself a little breathing room right here.
One ball, 2-strike pitch. And into left field, and Mesoraco, a base hit, driving in 2.
He is smoking. Keeping on, young man. That pitch was not even in the strike zone. A breaking ball headed for the outer half of the plate, and it just continued to go off the plate. But Mesoraco strong enough to hook it into left field.
Man, is he rolling. Tie for the team lead now and runs batted in. That's 8 of them for Mesoraco.
He missed the first series. 2 series.
2 series in the first game. First game he came back, he did not play after being activated in St. Louis. And of course he has not started every game since he's come back. One and one account on Kozak. Runners at first and second base and 2 outs. 7 runs and 12 hits tonight for the Reds. Mesoraco with the 2 RBIs there actually now leapfrogs Jay Bruce and leads the club with now 9 runs batted in. Foul ball. And Mesoraco, since coming back with 3 hits in this game, is hitting an even .500.
That ain't half bad.
Not bad. We've talked about it before. I mean, this is a young man that, after a couple of rough years in the minor leagues, trying to focus so much on becoming a better catcher, that his offense paid the price. There's a little nubber, and caught in right field by Tabata. But Devin Mesoraco drives in 2 with a 2-out single. We're off to the 8th. Reds lead 7-3. Montgomery. 1-1 game in the 4th inning. Runners on the corners. A comebacker. Mike Leake's trying to turn the double play. Throws it into center field. A run scored. But the Pirates would not score again in that inning. 1st and 3rd with nobody out. Then Frazier gave the Reds a lead. A 2-run home run off Cole into right center field. And then Mike Leake with a man aboard. A 2-run home run. The 3rd in his career. Pirates got 1 run back in the 7th, but bottom of the 7th inning, Devin Mesoraco a 2-run single. His 3rd hit of the game. And the Reds have a 7-3 lead as we are about to begin the 8th inning. Manny Parra got the final out in the 7th. Three, 4, 5 in the Pirate batting order. McCutchen, Alvarez, and Martin. Reds lost the first game after play was stopped, tied at 7 last night, 8-7. And trying to win this second game and send us into the series finale tomorrow, where the Reds, for the first time since the first series of the year, will go into the final game of the series with a chance to win the series.
Even with a 4-run lead, as much as you've seen balls fly out of this ballpark in the last 24 hours, you got to bear down. Got to make him swing it.
And there's ball 4. Parra thought he had McCutchen struck out. Instead, it's a walk to start this 8th inning with a 4-run lead.
Came with a fastball in, and you can see it just cut in off the plate.
So now Alvarez. Fastball of beauty on the outside corner at the knees, a strike. Alvarez has walked, stolen a base, scored a run, singled, and struck out looking against Leake in the 6th inning. Boy, Mr. Leake once again tonight, so good. Wound up giving up 3 runs in the game. Over 6 2/3 innings. But it just goes to show you, a lot of times, and you made the comment more on stature more than, who is going to win the game. But seemingly he goes into every game for whatever reason, despite winning 14 a year ago with an ERA at 3.3 in what frequently feels like a David versus Goliath sort of matchup, because there's nothing intimidating from a physical standpoint about Mike Leake. But man, oh man, there's never a game when Mike Leake takes the mound where you feel like, regardless who he's pitching against, that he's behind the 8 ball.
You always feel like you're in the ball game, and that just comes from his inner competitiveness. That's something you can't teach. He came with that package.
Votto down on a knee for 1, and Parra able to find the toe on the bag. And no argument over there from the Pirates first base coach.
Well, that's a tough way to turn a double play, especially with a short hop to second. Cozart with a nice throw, and Parr got there. And it appears that this is going to be challenged. Looked like Parr was on the bag, and then his foot stepped off after the catch.
Yeah, his foot was on the bag anyway, though, beating the throw. And I'm sure Clint Hurdle's going to ask him to take a look at it.
Well, and why not at this point? You're in the 8th inning. You don't know if you're going to get another play to challenge. If it happens to work in your favor, more power to you.
Wow.
Well, I think they gave him the thumbs down in their own dugout. We've seen that.
Oh, no, here we go.
With Brian Price, but it appears they're going to look at it.
Yeah. So this will be a challenge because he has not challenged a call in the game. First challenge of his series. No, I beg your pardon. The Reds challenged last night on that ball that hit Travis Snyder.
And the call was overturned.
Yep. A little better than 30% of the calls so far this year. I think at last check it had been up over 32%. Jerry Davis, the crew chief, along with number 42, who made the call over there, Quinn Wolcott. They're all number 42 tonight. The umpires are as well. Foot on the bag, ball not in the glove of Parra. This is an easy one.
So you think he's safe?
Do you not?
Couldn't tell. Looked like Parra's foot was off the bag in one spot, and it looked like it was on the bag in the other.
No, I don't think that's so much it as I think that Alvarez just beat the throw.
Oh, okay, I got you.
I think that last shot we showed you, Parra's toe was on the bag, it looked like, but it looked like
the ball wasn't there yet.
Yeah, the ball wasn't there yet. And they do win. It is overturned. So he is safe at first base. Here's a frozen image. You see the foot on the bag by the runner?
Yeah, I do now.
So 1 on, 1 out. And this should be a quick second down.
Well, that play there just shows you don't have a whole lot of time to make that decision. We're talking less than a blink of an eye.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we can stop that camera with the ball 1 foot from the glove, but I mean that's quicker than a clap.
So now Neil Walker turns around to bat right-handed. He has hit exclusively from the left side and done major damage in the first 2 games of this series. Singleton scored in the 7th inning after hitting 2 home runs in the first game of the series. Cardinals leading Milwaukee. That game has gone into the 6th inning, 3-1. Shelby Miller on the mound in that one for the Cards against Marco Estrada of the Brewers. 1-1 pitch in the air down the right field line and tailing out of play. Well, we know the Reds have had a rough start to this season. No one is having a rougher start than Kirk Gibson's Arizona Diamondbacks. And the New York Mets in the very first inning have scored 3 times. I believe that's against Bronson Arroyo.
What's crazy is the Diamondbacks have hit the baseball. They just can't keep the other team from scoring.
They're giving up 100 runs. 100.
The
Reds before the game last night, when all of a sudden guys are hitting balls all over the place, they had given up 34. I mean, now granted, the Diamondbacks have played 2 more games than everybody else, because they opened up there over in Australia.
Yeah, but 100.
But I mean, they have given up 100 runs. Runner advancing on to second, and now Mesoraco wants to make sure that they know what they want to do on this 2-2 pitch to Walker.
Looks like we'll see Broxton in the ninth, huh?
Two and two to Walker. And that is clobbered again to left field by Neil Walker. What has happened to this guy? His 3rd home run in this series, and don't look now, it is all of a sudden a 2-run lead again. The Pirates lead the major leagues in home runs so far. And that total is soaring here at Great American Ballpark.
Fastball down and in.
First runs allowed this season by Manny Parra. And now Sanchez, who's hit the ball as hard as anybody in the Pirate lineup. He had 2 home runs in the first game. 0-2 the count. He has 2 hits. His only out in this game was a line drive right at Heisey and left. He knocked in a run with a single in the 2nd inning. And he hit the ball so hard, it was a line drive off the left field wall.
Sanchez has not missed too many fastballs.
I tell you, these 2 teams, man, they go at it. Clint Hurdle was asked about the rivalry before it ever began. Talked about how excited his team gets when they're going to square off with the Reds. Swing and a miss, inning over. But Walker plays long ball again. Reds will bat at the bottom of the 8th inning, and their lead back down to 2. our John Morrell hot dog play of the game, turned down by Pirate left fielder Starling Marte on that ball hit by Jay Bruce. A beautiful catch. Billy Hamilton batting for Manny Parra to begin the Reds' bottom of the 8th inning. The home run hit by Neil Walker a moment ago from the right side of the plate. It has been almost 3 years since he has hit a home run batting right-handed. Got to go all the way back to May the 6th of 2011 when he hit it off of Wandy Rodriguez. And Hamilton dumps one into right center field, a base hit. So the Reds already in the game, 3 out of 3 in stolen base attempts, all of those against Garrett Cole. And a pretty good bet that Mr. Hamilton will be off and running shortly.
The ninth spot in the Reds lineup has been a little productive tonight, hasn't it?
Not bad. Single, double, triple. Single, double, homer. Home run by Mike Leake. Right now, that home run's a difference in his game. Of course, Mesoraco tacked on the 2 more with a 2-run single in the 7th inning. His Pirates just won't wave that proverbial white flag.
Well, if this is the way it's going to be this year, it's going to be awfully interesting and quite fun.
Not as big a lead as we're used to seeing from Billy Hamilton, but I think the one thing all of us have to keep in mind is he's getting a look at so many of these pitchers for the very first time. Or if not the first, for a select few, maybe the second. Hamilton going, and he is out at second base. Gomez gave Martin a chance, and if you give Martin a chance, he's pretty good at it.
It's awfully close.
Well, that's very close. 1-2 on Heisey. Heisey getting the start here in the second game. 1 hit in 3 at-bats. Has also put down a sacrifice bunt and has a stolen base. You're taking a look to the Pirate 9th inning. They'll go with the shortstop Mercer, a pinch hitter for the pitcher. And then back to the top of the order in Marte. Well, tonight it appears Cowboys going to be the first save chance for Jonathan Broxton. He began this year on the disabled list, was activated last week in St. Louis.
Of course, this is the kind of night with anybody coming back from injury, you just hope they're able to get loose and be all right getting into the ball game.
He went around and he's gone on strikes, 2 away in the Reds' 8th. Well, you can watch Fox Sports Ohio's coverage of Reds baseball during the entire year with MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, celebrating 12 years this season. Watch out of Market games live in true HD on over 400 devices. Visit Reds.com for details. Votto down a strike. Single, RBI single, walk, single, run scored. 4 times on the bases tonight for Mr. Votto, and RBI has scored a run. And so far, less than a handful of games into this switch in the batting order, it has been a very, very productive move for Joey Votto. Now, how long it lasts is anybody's guess.
Well, the bottom line is for the Reds to put runs on the board. Of course, we thought you score the runs they did last night, you'd have no problem winning, especially the way they've been pitching. Same thing tonight. This Pirate Club has come out swinging the bats.
You know, they got shut out in a game Saturday when they made the flip, but ever since then they scored 12 on Sunday. They scored 7 in the first game of this series, and now 7 in the second game of this series.
That is an emergency swing. Ball, ball, ball. Oh, no, better swing.
And Votto has a 4th base hit. 9th time in his career that he has reached base 5 times in a game. 4 singles and a walk.
You can't ask for better than what Votto has done in that spot as far as getting on base. He's been aboard every single time. An emergency swing on the pitch before, an off-speed offering out away, and Votto just slaps it right back up the box.
We're talking about that switch from Votto, Cowboy, and the runs they have scored. The first 11 games of the year, the Reds scored 28 runs. 28. They have scored 26 in the last 3. Now, is all that Votto in the 2-hole? It doesn't matter. Since he's gone into the 2-hole outside of that very first game, they faced a mighty good pitcher in Cobb, by the way. They scored 26 in the last 3.
Well, what it does, Tom, when you make a switch of your best hitter and you move him somewhere in the lineup, what it does is it puts everybody in an aware mode. Hey, we got to hit the ball better than what we're doing, or changes are going to be made.
Brandon Phillips into right field, a base hit. His 2nd hit of the game. Brought up earlier, this guy right here starts to swing the bat. With Votto in that 2-hole and Phillips swinging the bat the way he has pretty much the whole year, maybe there can be a lot more level of consistency where you're not going 0, 1, 2, 3, 12.
Well, I don't think there's any doubt that Bruce is going to get going, and when he does, I think we're going to see some consistency. But right now, he's just not seeing the ball very well. There are some guys that come out, hot starts in April, and then the 5 months following, nothing. I'd rather have the slow start and the hot finish.
0-1 to Jay Bruce. 2 on, 2 out. And that'll be the final out of the inning. So here we go in the 9th inning. Jonathan Broxton. A chance to nail it down for the first time since coming off the disabled list. The Reds' lead is 2.
Is presented by authority of the Cincinnati Reds and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Reds.
7-5, Reds in front. Our Nissan drive of the game. Reds were down a run with a man aboard in the 6th inning, and Todd Frazier, almost a one-arm swing, drives one to the first row in right center field. Reds took the lead, a lead they have not relinquished, but now they will hand the ball to Jonathan Broxton, the longtime closer when he first came to the big leagues, of course, with the Dodgers. Served in that capacity with Kansas City before being traded to the Reds. He saved 4 games in 2012 for the Reds. Last year, he did not earn a single save for the first time in a major league season since 2005. Spent most of the year on the DL, and you may remember it was a blown save in the 8th inning 1 year ago yesterday in Pittsburgh, where Broxton gave up 6 runs. And that's when he came down injured and went on the disabled list. How do you feel about the way he's thrown it, limited albeit so far, Cowboy?
I think his arm is fine. I think it's solid. I don't know that he is stretched out as much as he will be once we get into some warmer weather. But that's the pitch that I like right now. He didn't have that pitch last year. That depth on that breaking ball where you can see the ball go down. That is a tough pitch for right-handed hitters to catch up to.
And Jordy Mercer, no balls, 2 strikes. They have a pinch hitter standing in the on-deck circle. We'll tell you about that in a moment. Bernardino moves over to left field. Heisey out of the game. Billy Hamilton remains in the game to play center field. We are in the 9th inning. Reds trying to even this series at a game apiece. Mike Leake out dueling Garrett Cole through the front nearly 7 frames tonight. Mercer had a good rip at that fastball right down the middle of the plate. Josh Harrison, the Cincinnati native, pride of Princeton High School, stands in the on-deck circle. He's gone hitless in 7 pinch hitting at bats so far to begin this year.
I don't know how Mercer got the bat to that ball there. He swung at that pitch flat-footed and just barely nipped it foul.
One ball, 2 strikes once more on Jordy Mercer, leading off the Pirates' 8th inning.
And for Broxton, you don't want to get to 3-2 here. You want to make him make contact or strike him out. Whatever is going to happen, you make it happen now.
Two balls, 2 strikes on Mercer. Big deep breath from Broxton. And a liner. That is a fair ball up the third base line. And that's the way it starts against Broxton here in the Pirates' top half of the 9th inning.
Gave him a breaking ball there. That pitch would have been a strike whether he swung or not. Got it right off the end of the bat, just out of the reach of Frazier, but yet just inside the left field line.
Harrison a swing and a foul ball back out of play. The Reds only have one reliever on their team that has a save. It's Manny Parra, who strangely enough had never had a save in his professional career, minor or major leagues, until he went the final 2 innings in New York of relief behind Alfredo Simon. Of course, J.J. Hoover had a chance to nail down a save in that Mets series, but they have been so few and far between, even with all these one-run games. Down the right field line, Bruce in the corner will make the running grab. Tagging and scoring is tagging and going to third, I beg your pardon, is Mercer, 1 out in the inning. It really is so ironic when you think about it that you don't have your 2 primary setup men in the bullpen, and Marshall and Broxton, when the season begins. You don't have your closer in Aroldis Chapman. It's mind-boggling to think you've only had 1 real save chance through the first 2+ weeks of the season. I say real save chance because Parra was a 2-inning save.
Correct.
And they're so rare. Now Marte. Reds with a 2-run lead. Fastball in there, strike. Marte has just been twisted in knots by Mike Leake. Struck him out in the first, struck him out in the third, struck him out in the fifth, had him a ball and 2 strikes in the 7th, and then hit him with a pitch. One hopper to third. Runner will stay put. 1 more to go for Broxton.
Big out right there.
And now it'll be Tabata with 2 away. Crowd of 18,462 that have certainly weathered the cold here tonight.
And that out was big there, Tom, because you want to leave McCutchen standing in the on-deck circle.
Broxton ready, so too is Jose Tabata. Strike 1. Broxton trying to get his first save since 2012. 0-1 pitch. Fastball that runs inside.
Oxen ran that ball up in there at 94 miles an hour. That's lengthening out a little bit, and it's cold, real cold.
Broxton's first save as a Red came against these Pirates on September the 11th in that 2012 year. It was his 24th overall on the season. Two-one on Tabata. Oh boy. McCutchen waiting.
Tabata likes to shoot the ball the other way, and Broxton's trying to run the ball in on his hands, but the ball's tailing in off the plate.
3 balls and a strike to Tabata. Runner at third, 2 outs in the 9th inning. And Broxton has walked Tabata and now must face the go-ahead run in the reigning National League most valuable player, Andrew McCutchen.
And with Alvarez standing in the on-deck circle, you pretty much have to pitch to McCutchen here.
Well, that was a critical at bat. You said it, Cowboy. I mean, you got Tabata, who has done 0 damage this entire year. Nothing. And he draws a walk on 5 pitches. But that's old news now.
Yes, it is. Regroup and get this guy.
Tying run at first base. 2 outs here in the 9th inning. Ball 1 to McCutchen, who has struck out, singled, scored, bounced to third, and drawn a walk.
McCutchen very patient with his hands. I guarantee you he's eyeballing the right side of the infield. A huge hole over there now that you have to hold on the runner at first base.
Two-0 to McCutchen. Pulled foul. You knew he'd come out of his shoes on a strike on that 2-0 count. Of course, when Broxton was signed to the multi-year contract with the Reds, he was signed to be the closer, because the Reds went to spring training with full intent of Aroldis Chapman going into the starting rotation last year. We know that didn't happen. 2-1, the count on McCutchen, and Broxton to the plate. Swing and a miss. Threw him the breaking ball there on 2-1.
Watch the eyes of McCutchen. He's trying to shoot that ball to the right side. He just comes up empty.
Two on, 2 out, 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2-run lead. We'll do it again. Once more fouled off to the first base side. It'll remain at 2 balls and 2 strikes on Andrew McCutchen.
Broxton about to throw his 24th pitch here in this inning.
Once more, 2-2 on McCutchen, and Broxton turns it loose. And once more, another foul ball out of play off to the first base side.
Broxton feeding him a steady diet of that slider down and away. That's the best swing there that McCutchen's gotten a hold of it.
Two on, 2 out, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Broxton, a big deep breath and a pitch. In the air, short right center field. Who wants it? Phillips does, and the Reds win it. And Jonathan Broxton nails it down for Mike Leake in the 9th inning. Reds win it by a final count of 7-5. Well, it's got to feel mighty good for Jonathan Broxton.
I think it feels good not only for Broxton, but 24 other guys, including Brian Price.
So Mike Leake outduels Garrett Cole here. And we'll go to the series finale, the rubber game of the series, tomorrow afternoon. We'll be back with more in a moment.